हेलो भैया सुनना नहीं है तो चलें हमारे लिए भी छुट्टी सुनना है चलो फिर सुन लो बैठ जाओ एवरीबॉडी गाइस वी आर रनिंग लेट okay since we are 15 days to 2026 I think it is only befitting for us to look at what does 2026 in PR look like, right? That's what we need to think of. But obviously, it's based on the fact that what's in the rear view. So we've got to take cues from what we witnessed this year. And to be honest, as I can only speak from my own perspective, as CEO of a company, what was I? I was driving growth. And if I was driving growth, in what circumstances? In a circumstances that was really, I would best define as uncertainty. Uncertainty from the word go. I mean, okay, Ukraine war was on, you've had Middle East tensions, while Trump decides to give visas, not to give visas, impose tariffs, not to impose tariffs, et cetera, et cetera. Inflation so high, et cetera. And that's resulting in AI, fair amount of unemployment, and we'll speak on that later. So in that perspective, yes, it's an era of uncertainty, and a lot of people are saying crisis is going to be pretty much, or issues are going to be pretty much business as usual in the years ahead. And so we've got to be prepared for that. What does it do to people? It pretty much stresses them out. There's a particular distrust that's come out of brands, out of governance, administration, all quarters. And therein lies an opportunity too. I mean, if brands can build a certain amount of trust and make them feel good, happy, feel like they're contributing, we may have an opportunity. And these are numbers really coming out of global surveys, which talk about the fact that yes, there is going to be a fair amount of unemployment, and that continues, and global platforms are talking about it. But even in India, if you look at it, I think we're not talking enough about it, but there are going to be disruptions thanks to AI in segments, whether it's business process outsourcing, manufacturing adopting a lot more mechanization. We're looking at retail and sales, some of their jobs. How many of you have experienced mechanized checkouts? What does it do to people? There are no jobs, right? You no longer have to stock at H&M or Uniqlo on the sort of tills. Yeah, so it is definitely going to happen. And that, in a way, is stressing people, which results in a lot of rage. We've seen it in our neighbor. What happened in Bangladesh, we don't want to repeat it here. So trust is really, it's an opportunity. Therefore, if I were to learn it, can we in a way turn this tension into trust? And that is what we should be thinking about this year. The other imperative is the fact that we have going to be a Gen Z-led economy. Gen Z, just to clarify for some people like me in the audience, are people born between 1997 and 2012. Half of them are already in the working population today. They are definitely, and the numbers are almost about 400 million Gen Zs, out of them half being in the work, or 25% being in the population, working population. They're digital natives. They think about climate ahead of anything else. They're definitely going to be the shoppers. They discover products, not in the stores, but on Instagram. That's what their e-commerce shopping habits, etc. So that's going to be a little bit of the change that we will see coming about. Definitely digitally savvy, so UPI payments, not cash, or credit cards. So again, credit card companies are going to be very worried at this point of time, saying, where is my future? I'm going to be switching to banking. I can no longer earn that 2 or 3% commission. So it's a real problem that between Gen Zs and millennials looking for experience economy, and all of them, this is happening parallelly. And if they're going to hold influence on the economy, what is it that we need to work towards? What does the market suggest? It sees that are brands acknowledging the distress? Is that something that they are talking about? A few brands, yes, talking about mental wellness. Are they demonstrating enough empathy? And some of you, we were discussing earlier, it's, the empathetic behavior of maybe Indigo would have made a difference to the way they responded in these stressful times for them. So what are the new rules of influence that we need to work towards? So I've put down 4 points. I'm sure there are more, but to my mind, it's about being relevant. Think Spotify. If they didn't think about the regional languages, if they didn't think of the sort of hyper-local culture in the music listening or the podcast listening habits, they wouldn't be growing. So think like that. It has to be relevant for them. So what is it relevant for your customers? Because this audience or the larger audiences are looking at see me, hear me, understand me. And we need to solve for that. And these 3 things, and yes, it requires us to be hyper. There is a human connection. People are looking at how is it that you can make your brand a little bit more real to them. Glossy models in campaigns or celebrities in campaigns are beginning to thin down. People are very happy for certain brands to really look at real people. I mean, Uniqlo features me, right? That's as real as they can get, right? If they feel that, okay, I'm a traveler, I wear their sort of heat tech, or they talk to people that, is probably your neighbor who loves it. So that's the human connection that increasingly brands will have to be. So it conveys a certain amount of authenticity and really makes that product, that proposition, that idea seem more connected, right? Control. People want to control they want that choice. The brand that comes to my mind is Canva. It says, okay, design, why should it be left for a few people to think about design and be experts at that? Let me democratize design. Let me allow people to use tools to sort of make a design-forward proposition. So design my communications, my presentations. And the last point that I think will continue to influence, purpose is not new, purpose is definitely will remain. Think at sea. You build your proposition or your model of your business around purpose, about the real things that will make a difference. Craft doesn't have an opportunity to present itself commercially. How is it that they can actually enable a craft that probably lacks access and bring that to more and more people to make it commercially viable to withstand? It's not about donations. Please understand, purpose is not in that respect. It's got to be self-sustaining, and that's what they are able to offer. And that's the kind of influence that brands need to think about. So what does it mean for a room full of communicators? for all of us, that the old playbook, where we thought only of awareness, of shouting on top of the rooftops to say, okay, yeah, let's go and amplify this news, is no longer about that. It is, in a way, crumbling because there's a wall of skepticism that we need to break through. So what kind of skepticism is what we've understood, right? So, I mean, how is it that we can do? So every communication that we think of, or every initiative that we do, we need to think of it, is it going to build trust? And if we can address that, we have a winning proposition. So all of us need to think about that for our clients, for the companies in which we are involved, is how is it that we make sure that the communication that we do is adding to the, and for that, I have a few cues. I think it's important to move hearts before headlines, right? So our communication can't be just about awareness. Let's make them connected, relevant, and we move hearts. And because if you look at this audience, is not saying that, okay, don't try and sell to me. Do you really stand? Do you really stand with them in times of their needs? Are you concerned about the environment? Are you really concerned about my well-being? Then that's what companies will, you'll be able to build trust, make them advocates, build a relationship with them. Make trust your cornerstone. That's the key takeaway, I would say. Now, that can be done by leading with transparency. What does that transparency mean? Two brothers organic farms, think them. Right from the beginning, they're talking about how their products are sourced. The QR code in there leads to what is the origin of their product. So they are building that trust, and they're trying to, it's a challenger brand. They're trying to disrupt the market and doing that very, very well at the moment. Second point, you could shift from brand-led messaging to stakeholder. Nobody wants to hear what the brand says. You want to hear what it means for me. Right? Nike. Personalize the athlete's personal journey. How does the brand fit in there? That's what brands expect from us. And be consistent in what you say. Daag achhe hain, daag achhe hain, daag achhe hain. Over years, Surf has done it. Share the load, share the load, share the load. Right? Those are the brands, that's where they grow. You cannot walk away from that. You cannot be one thing one year and another thing the other year. Your core proposition has to be consistent, and that's will build trust. And you will be forgiven if you're human, and nobody expects you to have synthetic voices. It's okay to say, we goofed up, we made a mistake. Blinkit has done it, right? During the winter season when they had, untimely, they couldn't meet their deadlines, they didn't take to press about it. They used Twitter, and they made some sweet remarks, right, on that. Conversation that, we are embracing our flaws with flair. I think there's a UK sort of ad that comes to mind where I think KFC said this, that they reversed it. The FCK is what they called up when, when they messed up real bad. Chicken supply issues were there, so they couldn't serve the customers. So you've got to think of more innovative ways to communicate the fact that, yes, every organization in its lifetime will make a mistake. Every brand will trip. So be prepared that that is going to happen. So, and then you take it on the chin, admit it, and move on. So, if you're looking at making trust your cornerstone, some of the things that we need to also be mindful of is mind what's out. If we are talking about influencers, right? A lot of us, I spoke about it myself right now and said, there is Gen Zs discovering influencers. They find it on Instagram, they don't find new products anywhere else. But there is a fatigue. How are we going to overcome it? It's not that they're passé, but are we thinking of communities? Are we talking to niche creators, Substack influencers, etc., podcasters? Those become the new influencers that we need to deploy, influence. They become advocates for our brands. Adidas, running communities. All their latest drops, they only drop to something called sneakerheads. They don't talk to anybody else because it's the other audiences are influenced by the sneakerheads. So it's a chain effect that you've got to understand what is the source of influence and move there. Avoid transactional thinking. We're not in the business. The product will sell. Tata Tea will sell. But if you remember the Jagore campaign, so think about issues, contextual issues, relevant issues of that times that you could possibly awaken or align your brands with. That is what will move the brand's reputation, equity, the pendulum in the right directions. I think Amul, for years, has done it. They don't sell butter out of that. Clearly not. If they put a square ad that size with just that butter, it would be a very different. And then purpose washing is pretty much out. You will be called out. Brands like Bare Necessities, No Nasties have again built a business. A fashion brand, No Nasties, out 100% organic cotton, and they've got to be real. And likewise, No Nasties is B Corp. Then what's in if we can't align with what's out, right? Bhaiya, nikal jao. Nahin, piche chala gaya, haan. What's in? What can we possibly deploy? Definitely technology. So you've got to use it, you've got to deploy it. It's there for us. It's not just for ChatGPT. It's got to be used in every campaign that you do. How many of your campaigns actually sit up and listen and think that are thinking about AI or have an AI idea? Definitely be culturally fluent. And I've got an example for each of these, which I'm going to show to you. So hold your horses. And engagement over endorsement. Nothing is better that will seep in to your hearts if you engage with the brand. Because reading will only leave a fleeting impression, and then you will walk away to it. AI. This is
Traveling brings joy is a universal truth. But planning it, not so much. Finding a destination and planning the perfect itinerary was a big hurdle for our users. What the chatbots churned out felt mechanical, impersonal, and boring. Agoda set out to change that with the first of its kind AI-powered visual itinerary planner. So what does it do? It takes just 8 user preferences like name, travel vibe, who you're traveling with, budget, trip duration, bucket list experience, destination type, and travel month. Then using AI, matches them with one perfect destination and offers an itinerary that is narrated to you. But narrated by who? None other than Ayushmann Khurrana, aka Mr. Bekewala.
Hi Priya. Hi Arnav. Hi Suresh.
Yes, you heard that right. He greets you by your name in real time. Okay, wait. Is that all? No. He not only gives you the destination but shows you the hidden gems in that city as well.
Best vibes के लिए you must check out Chatuchak Market. The best vibes के लिए you must check out Esplanade Theatre. You must check out Tibetan Flea Market.
Cool, right? So how does it work? Making it highly relevant is Google's Gemini 2.0 recommendation engine. It matches 8 user preferences across 80 destinations to give the perfect spot along with an itinerary. Secondly, to personalize it for each user, precise AI-based speech generation and lip-sync technology were used to generate thousands of personalized videos with real-time name generation, all with just 15 minutes of training data. And to make the experience visual and immersive,
You get the point, right? It's possible to engage and personalize with the use of AI, and brands need to deploy that. Context setting, right? When there are trends that are popular, it gets you more eyeballs, it gets you more relatability. Zepto did that
Coming towards Shadi? Come, this is Zepto.
with the fake shadi trend. So they created an environment where they got all their brands together and saying, okay, come and experience a fake shadi, guys. Come to the Zepto fake shadi. All that you order on quick commerce is right here.
मैं चाहता हूँ आप लोगों की रियल शादी हो। मैं fake pictures ready.
Experiences. A brand like Hermes, what does it stand for? It gives a life to craft. How can you co-create craft together with them? So they actually created an event in every country where they exit, where they sort of sell, to get the consumers to co-create, because ultimately they believe that the drawings, or whatever their craft is, starts on paper with just a single line.
But I need these little things.
So it's not getting them to the store, come and look at my craft, how lovely my handbag is. This is getting the right audience to actually work with colors and draw, so that they know painstakingly what it takes to build a craft. That leaves a huge impression in the minds of. So what would success look like in 2026? Really, we have to become the most trusted communications partner. I'm just talking about from a PR lens, from an agency lens, but also from you yourself in corporate communication, the trusted department or the service that they cannot do without, right? That deliverables a certain measurable impact with authentic storytelling and data intelligence. So your winning manifesto is really going to be measurement, of course, impact and visibility, but more, has it moved the trust barometer? Have you deployed AI for insights maybe, or for innovated with certain intelligence there? And definitely, how authentic was your communication? How, does it sort of continue to tell the story that authentically the brand lives and the company really lives it every day? Participatory experiences, so that you co-build with your stakeholder what you're lying to do. Are you talking to your regional customers? Are you thinking about that? Where is it that you can actually take the communication to? How deeply into the markets? Let's not think, Northeast currently is drawing such a lot of investment. How many companies are really thinking about what they ought to do in that market? Or in any other market, hyperlocal. And yes, let's look at building the leadership more credibly. We've spoken about that. A brand that comes to mind that does that and has been doing it, building it beyond the rider fraternity, is this, Royal Enfield. So they have a community now. What do you do after beyond a community? How is it that you can get more and more people to understand? Where do you ride? You drive, you ride through the Himalayas on those, and the Himalayas stretch all the way from the northeast, all the way down to the northwest. And to get craft, to celebrate craft, cuisine, culture from that market is something that they've been now doing. This is season 3 for them. So that's what builds a certain relationship, a credibility with what the brand.
Is so rich in stories.
It's a journey across
Talking about
the Himalayas.
Traditional knowledge, gender, art, I think everything is connected to the earth.
So I think in terms of the Himalayas, we know changes are happening so fast.
Culture is constantly evolving, it's growing, it's changing, it's moving and shaking together with its people. So it's alive, it's dynamic, it's not static.
Today was the last day of this in Delhi.
The whole idea is to
But
document
look-
intangible cultural
Look out for it next year.
Exhibition is interactive. It invites participation.
The collaboration with Enfield.
We also need to hack into sort of definite cultural moments to elevate craft, culture, and global perception. And a brand that's done it very well is Jaipur Rugs. And this is what the founder has to say about it.
Chaudhary, director and owner at Jaipur Rugs. My father started Jaipur Rugs in 1978 because he loved weaving. He grew and started to make for other carpet manufacturers, and then eventually we started to export ourselves. And today we export in over 80 countries around the globe and make carpets for some of the best design companies in the world. One of the most interesting things that my father did early on was that he got rid of the middlemen. So in carpet industry, there's an exporter who exports the carpet, and then there are at least 2 middlemen between the weaver and the exporter. And from the first day, he went directly to the weavers, and because of that, he was first able to pay them a lot higher, because of which we got a lot of loyalty from them. So they were making better quality because we were paying them higher. Also, we deliver material to their doorsteps and collect the carpet back from their doorstep, meaning that a weaver working for us can be sitting at their homes, and we provide employment at their doorstep. So we give material, we check there, we collect it back from there and pay them there. But also what's very unique about Jaipur Rugs is our designs. We've won numerous international design awards.
They have
for our
something called the
carpets, but also for our
Manchaha,
store designs.
where older designs are given to artisans and they convert it into whatever. And this is a luxury product that they've created out of just giving. And obviously getting the communities together to sort of keep the craft of tradition alive in their villages. And some of you may have seen some of these ads, but how they pitch these ads very cleverly during sporting events. So on the left is the Wimbledon, and on the right there's the cricket, the women's cricket World Cup. So over to you all to move hearts, move culture, and therefore be able to move outcomes. That would be my playbook for 2026. Thank you.